Yeah.
What would be some of the best recruiting advice that you could give to somebody that's up and coming, that's going through the recruiting process right now, might be going into it, or just anybody that's going through it?
Yeah. As I kind of touched on before, I think one of the most important things is just reach out. Worst case scenario, let's say you reach out to a coach, maybe they don't respond, maybe they respond and say, "Oh, I appreciate you reaching out, but we're not interested, or we have no scholarships left, or this or that." And I like to think of everything, in a certain type of mindset. Like, worst case scenario, that happens, you're just back where you were before, but now you know for sure. Instead of you thinking, what if I reached out here? I wanted to go to Stanford, I want to go to Oregon, I want to go to these schools. Do I have a shot? I think it's definitely really important to reach out, and then of course keep those grades up and performances, because at the end of the day, I say, if you're doing what you need to be doing, whether it's on the track or on the field or on the court, whatever sport it is, if you're doing what you need to be doing, someone will find you. So, just keep excelling in what you do, and it'll work out.
I definitely think that's really important. I didn't have the same level of recruiting process that you had. Like you said, it's different for everybody.
Mm.
But I definitely remember when I was going through it, coming out of high school and stuff like that, I definitely remember doing questionnaires on people's websites, the
Sure.
longest questionnaires ever, typing up emails, like you said, sending them out to everybody, getting responses. Yes, we would be interested in recruiting you. No, sometimes no response at all. But I think that's definitely major. A lot of people think that coaches are just going to find you, and sometimes that's how it is. But in a lot of time, like a lot of cases, that's not the case. There's so many people that are trying to do the same thing that you're doing. There's only a certain amount of coaches that are able to recruit a certain amount of players. So like, it's important to make sure that they have the chance to put their eyes on you and not just expect for somebody to reach out to you. Really, I think that's very important.
Yeah.
What was it like just coming out of high school and adjusting to the college lifestyle of a student athlete?
Mm. Yeah, I'd say honestly, being transitioning from, a COVID-esque senior year, to a similar thing my freshman year, kind of helped the transition, academically a little bit smoother. I came in, I didn't have any classes in person. It made it a little bit easier to time management, because most of my time would be spent, doing practice, being in the weight room, and it's not like I had to work in going into class or stuff like that. My class would be online, they'd be on Zoom, some of them would be recorded, and kind of now transitioning back into in-person classes. I'd say honestly, the COVID experience made it a little bit smoother, helped me with my time management.
I
Yeah.
think I think the COVID year in college for me also was a lot easier than a regular year because all my classes were online also. So it was pretty much a lot of time just waking up, doing your work whenever
Mhm.
you wanted to. So as long as you had your head on straight and you weren't just doing everything else but your work, like it was pretty easy. I know for some people it wasn't that easy though. Like I had teammates that kind of struggled just because everything was online. So you kind of have to hold yourself accountable. But I think that definitely was easier for me. I definitely got straight A's that whole year doing online work. But yeah, I think that was it was pretty much the same experience for me also. You talked about time management. How important is that being a student athlete?
Oh, it's the most important. I mean, we joke about it all the time. How many hours have we practiced this week and this and that, but it's a real thing. I mean, most of my time, it's not cliche at all to say that most of my free time is spent doing schoolwork. We practice. I practice 6 days a week. 3 of those 6 days are 2 a days with lifts, and living off campus in an apartment. Some time is spent, migrating to school and back home. So time management is definitely important. I keep a calendar here that I write down all my schoolwork, all my track events, whether it's practice or a lift or treatment or this or that. And time management is the most important thing to succeeding as a student athlete at any level.
Definitely. I say that pretty much on every show. The guests, they say the same things. It's pretty much just time management. Like once you get your routine down, your time management down, things kind of get more and more simple because you know exactly what you have to do every day, exactly where things are, how much time stuff takes, and like it's definitely not impossible to manage and to do what you need to do. It can be hard, can be harder than it needs to be if you're not focused and locked in on what you need to do. But I like this. I like to think about how much time we spend playing our sport, doing things related to our sport, and also like like we do get a decent amount of free time. It's just you have to do schoolwork, like you said, and you have to just manage your time so that you have the most free time that you want. I guess you could say doing your work or not doing your work, whatever you do. But yeah, I definitely agree with what you said there.